With almost no rest at all, I had to get up early in the morning and pack to get ready to walk over to my auntie's house to say my final goodbyes. It finally hit me that I'll be walking out this door for the final time. And of course, force-feeding Aunt had to give me one last bowl of noodles before I boarded the taxi. But I had one last important matter, and that was to finish a drawing for my topless landlord as his parting gift. The taxi came and we said our final goodbyes. It was hardest on the woman. Even at 5 o'clock in the morning, it was hard to believe how many families were there to greet their loved ones coming in. After boarding the plane, I took the last few moments to take in the sights of Saigon. As we were leaving, 3 of the grounds crew were waving goodbye at us. I can't imagine how much they love their jobs. Looking down below, I couldn't help but notice how disorganized Saigon looked. No structural grid-like pattern, just a beautiful array of chaos. Flying to Japan during sunrise has offered some of the most beautiful sights I've seen on flight. I just wish I wasn't coughing so much so I could enjoy the experience a little more. I have a feeling this wet nap will come in handy later when I need to use the toilet. We were seated right next to business class, and boy did they let us know it. No peasants allowed. For those of you who don't know, food on international flights is a lot better than food on domestic flights, although I can only imagine what food is like in business class. My first order of business after the 5-hour flight was to find a place to lie down to rest up. Oh, and to have some miso soup. And more food. Lying down didn't help much, so I got up and wanted to walk around to check out the airport. Okay, so I wanted to find a little more secluded place to talk a little bit. I could barely even speak because I have such a severe cough. This cold could not come at a worse time. I still have a 13-hour flight ahead of me to America. I have the sweats. I have a headache. I have a stuffy nose, congestion. It's hard to talk without coughing. So I just have to deal with it. So I'm gonna walk around a little bit. And I just had some miso soup. That kind of feels like it helps. Maybe a placebo, but let's see if I can survive. Of course, here you have a lot of tax-free and duty-free shops. It's like a little mall here, as most good airports should be. makeup store for the ladies. This place, I think, sells electronics and cool stuff like cameras, DSLRs. Might go check it out. More cosmetics. More duty-free liquor and tobacco. We have watches on this side. And jewelry over here. Security in Japan here is very lax compared to Vietnam. You know, like taking pictures here and video is very lax. Vietnam airport is very controlled, very paranoid, if you will. And that's a big difference right there. Digital cube and Fuji doll, Japanese gifts. These look like my kind of stores. Oh damn, a drugstore. Score. I got myself some cough drops. This is amazing. I also bought this ion water. I don't know what it is. It's almost like faint soda, subtle soda. The big rotunda area. What's going on here? I'm barely moving and I'm sweating like a pig. I totally need to visit Japan, not just the airport. I think walking around helped me a little bit with my coughing, so I'm gonna walk back to the gate. You ever cough so hard where you also simultaneously blow out a huge giant fart? And it's painful because it's totally unexpected and your butt is totally relaxed. That just happened to me. Dude, it's like every single female Japanese employee is super hot. Like they're like real life anime dolls. One last toilet run before the 11-hour trek home, and my favorite part of Japan. Oh sweet Ichiro! Oh, and how Buddha has shined down upon me as I was able to get one entire row to myself for 11 hours, while people in business class had to pay a couple $1,000s more for the same privilege. Ah, sweet revenge. In Chicago, I was jonesing for a strawberry smoothie, something that I had almost daily in Vietnam. But $5? Wait, with tax make that almost $6. Compare that to $1 in Saigon. So I'm here at Chicago O'Hare. Got about 4 more hours before I catch the flight back to Minneapolis. So the flight from Japan to here, Chicago, was a grueling 11 hours, probably the worst flight I've ever had, only because I was so sick. Like, I had a stuffy nose, I was coughing, still am kind of, and I had a cold sweat, and a sore throat. It was a pounding headache the entire time. And thank goodness that I had the road to myself. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have made it without having a row to myself to lie down a little bit. But man, that was brutal. Only in the last hour of that flight did I start to feel significantly better. I mean, I feel 100% better than when I was on that flight. That's not to say I'm recovered, but that just kind of gives you an idea of how much of a difference it is and how I feel. So I'm just kind of relaxing here at the food court and just waiting to get home tonight. Here we are at Chicago O'Hare Airport. It's a nice big airport, but it's a dark airport. When the natural light comes in, there's a lot of it. During the daytime, it looks beautiful, but I think the Midway Airport, the other airport in Chicago, is a bit brighter than this. Sure, I want to buy any type of healing ointments called Lamer. I'm just kind of resting, lying down, chilling until my flight leaves. Oh, and how about one last bout of chicken noodle soup before I board the flight? At the Minneapolis airport, I was pleasantly surprised to see the artwork hung of my good old artist friend Kao Lee Tao. Kao Lee and I go way back to high school, and she was even a co-worker at my first job at Burger King when I was 16 years old. My mom had the bright idea of calling my stupid retard crybaby tattletale brother and his girlfriend to pick us up from the airport, but I said, "Nah, let me get a cab and I'll pay for it." When I got home, I was able to enjoy something that I hadn't in 2.5 months, an overhead shower with temperature control. And I was able to enjoy my own bed again, one that could support my weight without breaking down. First world problems.